Let me share the screen. Sure. Um, so on mine, I have it in like panel mode, um, but that's so I can't really see the screen that I'm sharing. Um, but that's fine because I've got the actual screen. Uh, can you guys all see the Etherpad that I'm sharing?
Yes,
I
I
can
can
see
see
it.
it.
Okay, great. Um, all right. So um, I haven't emailed any of the like technology panel, and I need to work on this. So I guess one thing we should talk about is moderation. Um, so I think I think Omar would be maybe the ideal moderator, but having said that, I don't know that timing wise that Omar is the best moderator. I mean, if he's going to be managing the stream, um, starting on the next day. Um, so the little mini conference will be the 12th, and then the stream will start for all of us on the 13th, and then goes through the 14th, and then a bit onto the 15th. Um, so I don't know. I know you said you were doing some eating, Omar. So um, we can dive into the a little that a bit more once Omar is done. But I guess what are some other ideas for potential moderators?
This would be on the 14th of July, that being Monday.
No, this is July 12th is when
This
the
is July 12th. Okay.
yeah. So this is put Saturday, July 12th. So yeah, the stream
Okay.
would be
So
the
for
next day. So I mean, it'd be physically possible for Omar to do it, but I mean, at least as far as the stream is concerned. Um,
right.
Jason, I think you have a good like a good calmness that would be good. My concern is that your internet is not always the best. It seems like.
That's my that's my main concern.
Yeah.
I'm certainly down to um I'm certainly down to give it a shot. Tech was definitely teching on my end um last year back in late February. Omar and I got it done, and granted, I think it was a really good exchange between the two of us. But you know, tech is an issue. Tech is an issue, but I'm willing. I
Yeah.
think if I think if I pop in and out on my camera just so that people know that they are talking to a live person and not a bot. Um, you, you know, I just to make sure that they are in fact conversating with a flesh, blood, and bone
Yeah.
being. I could I could potentially make it work. I've been thinking about what I could do in terms of moderation. So by all means, put my name down. It's 12 to 5 U.S. Central. That's on a Saturday. Time wise, it may make more sense for me to to jump in on that rather than Omar, but we can talk that out amongst ourselves, either here or within other channels.
Another person that I would have, thought would have a good demeanor for it would be Tom. But Tom
Yeah.
can't do Saturdays. Um, so he's out. Um,
Okay.
So I guess this might be an obvious question, but what would the moderator actually do during the process?
well, the moderators, if somebody's like hogging the mic, they, um, like, step in and, say, yeah, let's hear from, if it was the artist, and Kevin McLeod's just, he's probably the least likely to do this. That's why I picked him. Kevin's just yapping and yapping and yapping. And then, the moderator kind of like jumps in and is like, oh, let's hear what Donnie has to say. That sort of
Right.
thing. They kind of like try to make sure all the like good questions are getting asked early, and then if there's anything that comes up that needs to be followed up on, they'll follow up on that. And sort of like keeping things tight. So everything can be done within the time limit. So just I guess the same things that moderators do every time there's a panel discussion at a conference.
All right, that makes sense.
Keeping the show rolling.
Yep, yep. I mean, depending on how fluid the interactions are, the moderator may ultimately not have a lot of tasks other than making sure things are kind of wrapped up on time. That just sort of depends. I think there's probably the fact that like everybody's going to be online and not in person. Um, there may be there may be some sort of like just sort of like traffic copying that people have to do, like as far as like making sure people wait to speak and things like that. Um, you know, it just kind of depends on everybody's connection. When you're in person, people can, of course, I mean, you don't. If everybody ends up on video, then like you can kind of read body language a little bit. It's a little bit different in person versus not in person, but yeah, just being mindful of the situation. The official room reader, I guess, is what the moderator is.
Right.
um,
Right.
yeah. So, yeah, the curators all confirmed. So that's good. Um, Nicholas responded, but he he was he was not really a yes or a no. He was just like, oh, let me look at the summer calendar, and that's about all he said. So, uh, yeah, I'm uh I'm sort of not wedded to any of these that I haven't already emailed. If people have particulars that they would want to contact, we can switch some of these out. Um, you know, like I don't know any of these folks personally, so I mean I'm not on the Netlabel list. Um, I do know Emily for CC Mixter, and I do know David, so I can tackle both of those. But um, the other ones, I'm completely up for other folks. suggestions. We did talk about this a little bit last time, and I kind of filled in the list. Um, the thought being that maybe I would get through them all before this meeting, but that didn't happen. So um, I don't know. I know that people reached out to get folks involved with Netlabel Day last year, so maybe there's some connections for the net labels. Any thoughts on that?
As far as the devs and tech list, I mean, all of that seems like it would be awesome if everybody could be a go, particularly since you're working in, um, the new wave of ethical music sites. You're working in Funk Whale, you're working in, you're working in Bandwagon. If everybody's a go there, that could very well have the potential to be a really, really interesting panel. I know that last year, as far as trying to reach out to various net labels, the few in which that I could, um, it was kind of like, it almost kind of felt like shouting into the ether as far as emailing folks or trying to get to them via various social media.
Yeah.
So, there wasn't a lot of success there on my end, but I mean, there's a lot to choose from just among there's a lot to choose from just among active labels,
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
know where to look.
Yeah. And I know that Rhino really likes the Polish ambassador, and plays tracks a lot. So I don't know if he has a relationship there or not. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, I mean the list is fine as is. I just yeah, if anybody had a personal connection, then that would make it easier. So I
Yeah.
might as well drop this in here in case people want to make some edits. Um, so we currently, we don't have anything on the Friday night. Um, we sort of left it open for folks to do um, sessions in other time zones. I haven't heard anybody about, potentially. I mean, Stovall had mentioned doing something, but I haven't heard any details on when, like, a time might be. So, um, you know, at the end of the net labelist panel, I was thinking we would just sort of move into the, hey, do we want to do something else? But I mean, we could potentially try to do something else. I don't want to bite off more than we can chew. Um, but maybe having some space set aside would be useful, even if there's nothing planned. Maybe just like a time, like, hey, this is when we're gonna do something. We don't know what it is yet, but I don't know. Any thoughts on that?
I think we could leave space open after all the panels are done, mainly because there could very well be some ideas that jump off between these various panels that could very likely spill over into an informal chat once everything is done.
Yeah. That
You know,
that's
if you if you leave some open space, there's always the chance that it could be filled up with people just shooting a breeze back and forth in the name of Creative Commons and seeing what sort of interests, similarities, idealistic differences that there are that could be, explored further just in in an informal setting.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the question is, like we've got the 30 minutes at the end. Um, like, is that enough of sort of a formal block? Or do we want to like block off some other time, like say on like the 19th or something like that?
Hmm.
I mean, the problem with blocking off the time is that then you sort of it's sort of less organic. But the problem with not blocking off the time is then people might fill the time with other things.
Right.
So I don't know. You know, I'm fine just leaving it, but I figured that was something we could discuss if people thought we should do something the second weekend.
At this point, I would say we're still building up and filling in with with the panels in terms of reaching out to see who's definitely in, who's a maybe, and maybe can and perhaps consider some others should names come up as a possible get. So we might want to simply focus on what we have
Okay.
here and then leave that last bit of time after the panels are over, be it 30, be it 45, just to see what ends up happening for the day.
So one thing I wanted to discuss was where we want to do this. The easy thing to do would be just to use, the same meet.jit.c CC Music link that we have used for some time now. Um, there, somewhere I found like a list of different Jitsi servers. That like goes through the pluses and minuses of the different ones. Um, there used to be like one that was on like a Etherpad somewhere. I think the Chaos Computer Club made it. I don't know if anybody uses Jitsi for anything else. Anybody on the call here? Random selection of a server. Yeah, maintains a list. Yeah, Chaos Computer Club. I think there might be some other lists too, but yeah. So this is not. There's one that like has like a list of like do they do SSL? Are they up to date? Um, 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 I don't know. I mean, I guess so. I mean, they've got the SSL on here. I guess does anybody want to use a different Jitsi server? I guess. I mean, we could host our own. We could find a different one. There's a lot of options. Well, not a lot. There's some different options here.
I don't see any reason to change it. I think the the server we have is just fine. We're not gonna overload it.
Yeah, I know that, some people would be concerned about the servers being hosted in the US, but um,
Well, so's everything else. So fuck them.
yeah, well, that's not literally true, but
Well, it is on my end of things. So I think that's an absurd concern. And if that's the sticky point, then we're kind of missing the whole point of making this common. So there's my first statement of the day.
fair enough. Yeah, I don't know where maybe that thing that I found before doesn't doesn't exist anymore. I don't know. So now that you're here with us in audio form, what
Yeah,
what are your thoughts on being the moderator?
I had no problem with it.
Okay,
Things will be a little tight, but I can manage that.
all right. So unless anybody uh, wants to fight Omar, no, unless anybody has like another suggestion, I'm just gonna buy the power invested in me as the Pope of Creative Commons. I'm gonna crown Omar the king of the Netlabel Day conference. That's how this works, right?
Well, Napoleon didn't let the Pope crown him, so I won't either. I'm just gonna take it out of your hands. It's all good. All good.
All right, excellent. So that is settled. Um, on the dev slash technology or the Netlabel panel, is there anybody in particular that you think would want to be involved and we should reach out to?
Mm, nobody's jumping out
Okay,
at me at the moment.
fair enough. Then I can continue my reaching out to folks. Um, Now, did you have any thoughts on like I guess post stream events? That's kind of our, the 12th we're kind of doing conferences. Maybe people outside of North America will be involved. Maybe they won't. Other than the folks that you know are panelists.
I dig Jason's plan.
Okay.
I think if we can keep this as organic as possible, I think that does everybody a service. It's also right now good to keep that open because of the same reason Jason mentioned otherwise also, which is that we're not quite sure what the personnel is going to be. And on top of that, we're not sure what the chemistry of those personnel are going to be. So I think we can allow for that half hour at least for screwing around time. And if we decide that we're all going to go and get our rifles and storm, the CC Commons headquarters, then okay.
Well, I mean, clearly we should be storming the Bastille on July 14th.
Yes.
I mean,
it is the 14th, so yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, stream-wise, I don't think that I put it on here, but I did. I did create a new version of the radio sign up. I didn't get rid
Yeah.
of the colors, which I realized this was useless at best and probably confusing. Get to see my lack of skills. Here we go. So, and these apparently need to be done as well. Did this work well last year?
Yeah. And the primary function of the colors originally, of course, is to make sure that we're not. I can see visually what the overlap is from time zones. So there had
Oh,
to be some key to do that.
yeah.
So that
Not
part,
not these
that
colors.
part's fine.
Those I think should stay. The colors
Yeah.
on these two panels were for the blocks. So if somebody took like a
Right.
4 hour block, that was all the same
Yeah, and
color.
that was very helpful
Yeah,
also, so that I could see again how many people are actually involved and what the times are, and especially when we get close to the deadline, what needs to be filled and
right.
what does not.
So we'll do that again, but um,
Yeah, but we can
it,
reset it
right.
on
It
that.
doesn't make any sense, I don't think, to basically determine what the blocks are ahead of time. I mean,
Oh no, no,
that's
no.
that's silly. So, which is kind of what the colors being there on the blank one. Uh, that was their that was going to be their function, whether we liked it or
Mhm.
not. Speaking of for if you guys haven't watched yesterday, Omar and I talked. Actually, I don't know if this was recorded or not. We were talking about features versus bugs for at some
Mm,
point. Um, that's the problem with like talking before and after the mic is you forget what was recorded and what was not recorded. Um, but cool. When about do you think we should start working on getting this filled in? Like beginning of May, beginning of June?
I like to have at least a month,
Okay.
but if we can have 6 weeks, that'd be
I mean, we could
exceptional.
start now. I think the problem is if we start now is people will forget they signed up.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that's the
absolutely.
reality. Um,
I think the thing to start now is getting people to say that they're actually committed and say, "Hey, you're going to release something, right?"
okay.
That
Is
always is slow.
is there a place where like a website or a blog post or something where we can send people for information about how to submit things?
Yes, but I have to redo it because I've had a pretty awful 2 weeks of WordPress. So
Okay.
I have to repair things on the site
Okay.
still a little bit at the back end. But I'll post it and let
Okay.
everybody know publicly.
Excellent. Um, this is something I think I would normally do at the end, and I don't necessarily mean for us to be headed in that direction. But talking about basically, if we have a an item that we're going to be doing at some later time, it'd be good to have something set up so that we can talk about that. Now,
Hmm.
right now, we have a meeting on May 3rd, and that's sort of um, specifically for the conference planning. I think it might be ideal to have a slot. I mean, I guess we're kind of in late March, so it's really not that far away. Um, so never mind. I was thinking that was longer away than it is. So I'll ask you guys. So we have essentially April plus a week, to where we could have a meeting to talk about the um, any problems we've had with getting Netlabels to pony up some releases, basically.
Hmm.
how efficient has our shakedown been? That's, we need to check up on that. So, uh, be a shame if something happened to those nice releases of yours. Uh, uh,
Bruno fix.
yeah. So next week seems too soon. I mean, we don't even know if necessarily Omar will have the page fixed by then. I mean, I have faith in you, Omar, but um, you know,
Me too.
weekend is the weekend. Uh, then the next weekend I'm on call, which hard to say whether or not that's a true problem. The following weekend I am also on call. Um, so that leaves the 20th because the 19th is kind of out. Um, does that seem like a good time? Wait, that's Easter.
That's Easter.
Yeah. Also have a massage that day. Um, I don't remember what time. Okay, slight diversion here. I put my massage on the calendar when I scheduled it, but
Mm.
I was talking to my massage therapist about my wife's tennis, who also goes to this massage therapist, and I actually put it on the calendar as tennis. And then I was like, what the hell is this? I don't play tennis, and it's on my calendar, not Wendy's calendar. So I deleted it, and then I was immediately like, oh fuck, I think that was the massage appointment. I don't know where I deleted it from. So I do know it's this day. Because my massage therapist was like, hell yeah, that's the Easter 420. We're gonna get high on Easter during your massage, which is not actually gonna happen, but he thinks it's
Nice.
hilarious that Easter and 420 are the same day. Uh, but anyway, I think it's right in here. So anyway, let's not do Easter. So that would mean basically that we end up we have a non July 12th meeting
Hmm.
the week before we have the July 12th meeting. I mean, and it's not like I mean, theoretically, we could have different people that want to do show up for the different meetings. So I do think it makes some sense to brand them separately. Um,
Hmm.
Yep.
but at the same time, I don't know if two meetings on back-to-back weeks necessarily makes sense. What do people think? I'm not really opposed to it, but maybe it would make sense to spread them out a little bit more.
I don't mind it.
Okay,
Especially as we get closer and closer, things tend to converge pretty quickly anyway.
fair enough.
And as long as something actually is accomplished, I'm good with that.
Do
As
people?
long as we're clear on what we're supposed to be doing, I think that
Yeah.
that makes it much simpler.
Do we have a preference Saturday versus Sunday? 26th versus 27th?
My
Sunday's
preference is
better.
always, yeah,
I didn't hear either
agree.
one of those.
Sunday.
Sunday's better? Okay.
Yeah.
Sunday, Sunday,
Yeah.
Sunday.
64 funny
Is
cars.
does noon work? You'll be not fasting presumably by then, right,
Oh,
Omar?
I'm done on the 30th.
Okay.
Yeah, so all
Um,
good.
I don't know why I did, and I'll do an hour, even if it lasts an hour and a half. All right. Net label day. What do we call this? Submission check-in. Yeah, we like that.
Yeah, that works.
Cool. Um, I always do that, and it's radio BSOT, so it never shows up. I'm like, why does BSOTs not show up? Every single time. I don't. It, I don't. One of these
Muscle
days,
memory.
huh? What was that?
Muscle memory is
Yeah,
strong.
yeah. One of these days, I'll be like, Jason, type that in, not BSOTs. All right, Sam, Rhino. I'll invite Mike. I don't know if Mike's gonna show, but might as well invite him. Um, is there anyone else that we should invite? I don't know what like internationally, what sort of help that you've gotten in the past, if any, Omar.
Not nearly enough.
Okay. I mean, I know you've had presenters.
Yeah.
So, what I will do is, I will save this and then I will drop the link in the chat for folks.
Okay.
And that way, if there is somebody that that you want to send it to, you don't have to like use a calendar app to do it. Maybe that worked, maybe it didn't. Let's see.
I got it.
Looks like it worked. Yeah, I knew the sent worked, but the copy, it didn't give me any feedback that worked to send you guys to the link. And that's just so you can, if people don't have like an ICS reader, they can still
Right.
like, hey, this is the time. It doesn't put a time zone on there, but maybe that's because I'm logged in. Let's see what happens here if I am in a private window. I hope it puts a time zone on there. It doesn't. But maybe it's taking it based on my time zone. No one else on this call is on Central Time. So if you just go to the link and are not logged in, does it just look at your local time zone?
Good question.
I mean, it seems like an obvious thing for it to be doing, but
yeah, it comes up as central even in the invitation headline.
But just the link, does it actually, like, if you just click on the link without being on the invite, the one that I dropped in the chat in Jitsi?
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I was watching the episode from yesterday, maybe
Yeah.
about a half hour after it got streamed, and yes, I could have listened to you guys speak for another hour and a half. I clicked on that link, and it showed my time zone.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I'm Eastern.
Great.
So which means that, if somebody's not necessarily logged in, I believe that they're going to be able to see it
Yeah. Okay.
for the respective time zone that they're in.
That is what should happen. But I just wanted to I just wanted to make sure, because it wasn't actually giving me any feedback that it was thinking about time zones at all. Excellent. All right. So that is done. Oh yeah, I need to send that to Christine at some point. But Christine is kind of on my backup list as far as potential tech folks. I don't know if she'll want to. That may be something that's in her past, but she used to be the lead developer of Media Goblin, so we had her on when she was still Chris. We had her on Music Monument podcast a couple of times. So, but yeah, I'm gonna have her on Jibber Jabber Jambalaya, assuming she's interested. I feel like that show's format lends itself to maybe someone who's not in the music space a little better than this panel might.
Agreed.
So, okay. I'm not sure that I have anything else. Does anybody want to volunteer to contact any of these folks?
You're funny.
I'll definitely sign up to email Emily and David because I actually know them, so I have no, that will not be hard. I just need to make it happen. Um, and I don't want.
Maybe I could work. Maybe I could work my way down the rest of the Netlabelist panel. Maybe.
Okay,
I mean, I could certainly try to
yeah,
reach out to Polish ambassador. I've played some jumpsuit stuff in my time, and considering some other things. Plus, I'm always down to learn more about the ones that I don't already know about. So yeah, please put me down,
okay.
and I can get to work on that. So
Um,
by the time our check-in comes around, maybe I can just report on that as it
yeah.
comes.
Well, and you can update them on the Etherpad as well, just like
Hmm.
That's right. That's right.
Mark confirmed, or you know cross them out if they're not able or interested. One thing to note about actually things to note about both New Focus recordings and Hypnotic Dirge. New Focus recordings, not all of their stuff is CC.
Okay.
I'm gonna I'm gonna say 90%. Maybe it's
Yeah.
like 80, 85. It's a very high percentage of the stuff. The only stuff that is not New Focus or is not Creative Commons is um, sometimes labels. They don't actually have a listing on the label Bandcamp site. They point out to the musician site,
Hmm.
and
Mm,
when they do that, sometimes those musicians are not do not listed under Creative Commons. But everything that's listed, as coming, you look up at the top and it says new focus recordings.bandcamp.com. That's all CC. So, um, not a super important distinction, but um, just know that exists. If like, they're like, oh yeah, not all of our stuff is Creative Commons, then you're ready for that. Hypnotic Dirge. I
yeah.
think they're listed as being in Portugal now. Um, so time zone wise, this, I mean, it's not going to be super late, but maybe not. But I don't know if this is originally, but you can see here up here it says based in Portugal and Canada. They used to be based, I think, in Saskatoon.
Yeah.
So anyway, there is like a North American connection here. Um, not that I'm dogmatic about I mean, obviously we have like some folks from well, I think they're all in England, but from the British Isles at least, on the podcaster um, thingy. Well, and we got the Germans as well. So
Hmm.
yeah, this was very intentionally the first one, so we didn't keep them up too late, and then this one's the last one, so it just kind of depends on personal personal preference as far as whether or not they want to be up that late. So yeah, I think as was already noted, we probably have we're not gonna have problems finding people for that. We just have to do the work. And same thing for the artist. We'll find somebody eventually that's interested in doing it. It's just a matter of going down the list. Um,
Okay.
cool. Well, thank you for that, Jason.
Yep.
All right, so we have another meeting scheduled. Well, we have two, I guess. I will just say to any of you that want to, I am online daily at 6:30 Central, so 7:30 for the guys on the East Coast and
Mm,
4:30 for you, Omar. Um, so yeah, I nobody's ever stopped by, but it's a good time for me to just like try to get some work done. So I don't,
Hmm.
doesn't really cost me a whole lot other than like, you know, however many minutes it takes to like click the start stream and then to end the stream at the end. So, you know, it's like 5 minutes of overhead or something. So not a big deal. But yeah, if anybody ever wants to stop by and talk about stuff, and if people are not aware, that account is over at musician.social, and it's FCCM working sessions. I changed the name to office hours because I thought maybe that would be a little more inviting. You know, I mean, it's got work in the title in the old one, so maybe that's off-putting. I don't want to work.
You're now our professor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, so I mean, sometimes people do say things like, "Oh, you know, I wish, you know, like there was a resource, you know, like I don't know about this Creative Commons stuff. It's hard to learn this stuff." And it's like, "Well, you can come and ask. You know, maybe I don't know the answer, but maybe we can figure it out together." So that is exactly why that I changed the name because
Hmm.
I thought, well, you know, maybe it's not clear, you know. So I guess it's like, you know, all, you know, I'm around, and if people want to come chat, I'm there. So for whatever reason, if you just want to stop by and listen to some tunes, that works too, because I'm usually playing something. So
That works.
sweet.
Okay.
Well, I guess we said Sunday, so that's the April 27th. If I don't talk to you guys before then I guess I'll see you then.
All right. That should be good.
Alrighty.
All right. Thanks so much, guys.
All righty.
Cool.
Yep.
Been a pleasure,
Yeah.
gentlemen. Thank you.
Have a good Sunday.
All right.
All right.
Godspeed.
You
Bye.
too.